Hey, everybody, it's Olivia F. Scott, the creator of Freedom at the Mat. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about being single, but not just about being single. We're going to talk about using this time of being single to embrace your self love and your worth and really channeling this time of your life for self growth. I'm grateful to be joining conversation with Lady V. She's a fabulous content creator, encourager, and advocate for self love, confidence, and embracing your worth. Through her inspiring social media presence, she empowers women to truly navigate their singleness, dating, and relationships with grace while prioritizing personal growth. Her content blends lifestyle, motivation, and real life experiences, creating a space where women feel seen and valued. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her out to Freedom at the Mat. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, it is such an honor and such a blessing to be in conversation. We've been trying to have this conversation for a while. So, the first thing I want you to tell us and tell all the Freedom Mats is what inspired you to speak so openly about embracing singlehood as a positive and powerful phase of life?
A breakup is usually how I tell people. I did not try to sign up to be the poster child for singleness or single women. If you would have asked me if that was something I wanted to do or to be in the forefront of this, it was absolutely not. But I went through a couple of bad breakups and I started an online blog where I just started sharing my stories. And so many women started writing in and leaving comments and sharing my story. And I was like, oh, okay, what is happening? And fortunately, I have a really good support system and they pushed me. They were like, you have a voice and people will listen. And so I just started sharing my journey as I was learning. Obviously, I'm not perfect. It is still an ongoing journey. But the more that I've shared it, the more people find it relatable. And so I feel like I was, and probably get into this, but I was engaged at 22 and I called it off. I'm 37 and I'm still single. So
Okay.
at some point over those years, I was like, okay, we could either be bitter and sad about it, or we could try to flip this and really make the most of this season. And so that's kind of how it came about. And that's what I like to share with my audience now. I think a lot of times people think that when you're single, you are lacking something or that you are incomplete or that something is wrong with you. And we're living in a day and age where there is a lot of influence and not all good influence, but there are a lot of people with microphones professing a message, and it's up to you to be able to sift through that, to be able to take on the truth and not just take on someone's opinion. And so I think a lot of people feel like something is wrong with me, or even that marriage is this like finished goal, this trophy that you get at the end. And I think that it's the opposite. I think that we can find wholeness and satisfaction and purpose and happiness in our singleness, so much so that we learn how to be content and whole by ourselves, so that when we meet someone else, they come in not to complete us, but to complement us, to complement the things that we are already doing in life right now. So I think that's the biggest misconception. That was my biggest misconception. It was like, well, what is wrong with me? If I can't find a man, I'm the common denominator. So what's the problem? And there were things I needed to work on
Right.
for sure. But sometimes it just comes down to timing and alignment. And only God knows when that intersection will happen. Speak from my experience, y'all, and I'm a Texas native, so y'all gonna get a lot of y'alls, but I had to redefine what happily ever after looked like for me. I think a lot of times as, women, as young girls, we kind of grow up and we're fed a lot of rhetoric and images and movies where relationships and marriage and all of that is at the forefront of your existence as a little girl. And so you kind of grow up and you don't realize how much that shapes how you view and define happiness. So for me, I had to redefine what happiness looked like for me, not me inclusive of another person, but what did it truly look like for me? And when I was able to redefine what it looked like for myself, then I actually started to be able to be happy in life. Because I think a lot of times people go seeking happiness, but they're seeking it from the wrong things because they haven't yet defined what that looks like for them in a healthy way. And a lot of that comes with unpacking a lot of trauma or, hurt, anything that you haven't not healed from, I think impacts that as well. But that's what I would say is redefine what the fairy tale looks like, you redefine happiness, and then start to find ways to achieve that happiness that you now have defined. I do a lot of solo dates as well. I've cultivated a good friendship circle. Happiness also looks like personal development for me. I'm trying to learn Spanish right now, a little bit, un poquito. So just different things. Yeah, just different things like that is what I've tried to do. Think that we underestimate the power of our internal dialogue and how it plays in how we not only view ourselves, but how we view our singleness as well. And so for me, I had to start believing that my identity and my worth wasn't tied to me being in a relationship, that my identity and worth were first rooted in Christ, right? And I liken this to like a game of chess. I love to play chess. I don't get to play it often, but they say the queen is the most powerful piece on the chessboard. And regardless if you have that king there, that queen can do everything that she puts her mind to. So I think just first kind of reframing your mindset would be one of the biggest ways to change the way you view yourself and the way you love yourself. And another thing that I like to do is I'm a big kind of like words of affirmation girly. So I like to either say or listen to words of affirmations and or surround myself with a community of like-minded people who also will affirm me. I don't think that I would have gotten as far as I have in my self-love and singleness journey without having a strong community to support me. And that's kind of why I like my online presence in the platform that I bring, because I know a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to have that community, and I try to bring that community to them online.
We love you for that. So sincerely. The more I'm living into my single life, I'm learning that it's about the community and constantly trying to find the community to really support me. So thank you for that. And I encourage everyone to join Lady V's community. It's only Lady V on Instagram. You're also on YouTube, right? With
I
videos?
am on YouTube. Yes. I do
What's
full length videos on YouTube where I talk really detailed about the singleness struggle, the singleness journey.
I was
We
gonna say
get real
journey.
on YouTube.
It is. It is. So, what's one actionable step, right, that you would recommend for a woman in particular, because we're about women at Freedom at the Map, but anybody to take to start embracing their singlehood with more love and more courage? And I ask that from everything we're saying, Lady V. Like society has maligned us almost as lepers, many of
Yep.
us, especially when you're over a certain age. But there is joy, and there are some celebrations, right? Being able to wake up in the morning and do whatever you want, walk around, eat whatever you want. Right? So, what's one actionable step though that you would offer to a woman today who's just like, but I want a husband, I want to be married? What would you offer to her as a step that she can take to start embracing this season that she's in with more self-love, compassion, and courage?
So this is probably not the most tangible of steps, but something that I have been living in is grace. And so I'll explain this. The first thing that I had to do was get real about my frustrations in my singleness. And that means I laid it all at God's feet. I was like, I'm mad at you. I was engaged. I'm the last of my friends to get married. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with these men? Like, I just laid it all out at his feet, right? But I laid it out in a way where my heart posture was like, Lord, now you know where I stand. Please pour into me or send someone or whatever to tackle these things, because I know my identity is not tied into these things. And so I had to learn to give myself grace in those frustrations so that I could move forward and start to embrace my singleness. And for me, honestly, y'all, I'm a woman of faith, but prayer really was the actionable step. I believe that once I started praying for those things, because there was a period of my time where I didn't even have a community either. And I started praying for women who were also single in this season. All of my college friends are married now. I'm literally the last in my group of college friends that is single. And so I didn't have the same community anymore. And so when I started praying for those specific frustrations that I laid out, it just started happening. I didn't have to do anything else but lay it at God's feet. And that may not be the tangible answer that someone wants, but that's literally what worked for me. I've done this a couple of times, but there was a period of time where I took a year off from dating. Like, I wasn't dating anybody. I wasn't texting anybody. My phone was dry. It was hard. Okay. I wanted a man to tell me I was beautiful. I wanted to be entertained, but I took a year off, and it was just me and God, just focusing on me and God. When I did that, and the reason I did that is because I kept struggling with this concept of being alone. So I was like, well, we're going to force ourselves to be alone so that we can learn how to be by ourselves. When I learned how to enjoy my own company, entertain myself, love on myself, and all of that, it really gave me the power to be able to walk away from red flags or any situations that were not beneficial for me as I, navigate the dating scene. And I think that a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people will say, just keep dating, or the best way to get over somebody is to get with somebody new, or whatever it is. But I honestly think that the key to setting yourself up for a future healthy relationship is knowing your worth enough to know to walk away from something that isn't serving you. And when I got that power, I just felt like I was unstoppable. So now, of course, I still date, and I still experience hurt and rejection on the dating scene. However, I no longer internalize it like, oh, what's wrong with me? It's just like, okay, God, you blocked it. There must have been a reason. Okay, we're going to move on to next. We're going to cry for this moment, and we're going to keep it moving. So that's what works for me.
Do you have any strategies for any women right now who are like, I really want a man and I just feel empty, I feel void, and these apps, I know that these aren't serving me, as you said, but I want a man. I need to figure out how I can make myself feel validated, like self-validated, versus seeking it externally.
Yeah, no, this is a good question. So first, I'll start by saying I too used to go to the dating apps, even though they used to give me a lot of anxiety. But you could get on a dating app and really quickly have a bunch of people trying to message you or whatever. I've been off the dating apps for about 2 years now. And part of that is because I wanted to release control. For me, getting on the dating apps was about me trying to control when I was going to meet a person, the timing, the outcome, and all of that. And I do have a video on my YouTube specifically about why I stopped using the dating apps, if anybody needs support in that area. But again, yes, there is a Christ component of waking up and seeking God first and allowing that to be the thing to set the tone for my day and to validate me. But from a practical standpoint, y'all, I had to start validating myself. And so I'm just going to tell y'all what I did. I ended up going on a journey of just really trying to make myself feel good from the inside out. So I did a lot of therapy so that I could heal some of those childhood wounds and that negative self-talk. But then from the outside, I started working on other things like my appearance and my style, and showing up for myself every day, and learning about perfumes and what my scent is and all those things. And you may underestimate how much this could impact your confidence and the way that you view yourself. But doing even something as simple, I think there was a year where I invested a lot in loungewear because I work from home, and just putting on a loungewear set and waking up 10 minutes early just to make myself curl my hair or whatever, I just started feeling like, you know what, I am that girl. I don't even need anybody to validate me. The validation is nice, but I can look in the mirror and say, yeah, girl, you can do this. You are unstoppable. You are beautiful. You are enough. And so when I started doing those things from a practical standpoint, I started to feel validated on my own. The last thing I will say is bringing it back to community. My friends and I have a group chat and we tell each other good morning all the time. Good morning, how you doing? Good night, how was your day? What is something that made you smile today? So the way I get loved on from my friends helps me not to feel the need to seek that validation. And that's why I try to create that community to love on other women so that they know that over in our corner of the world, they're going to always get you are a queen, or you are that girl, or you are beautiful, you are enough from me. So I'm gonna have to keep it real on this one. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make it quick. I face the same societal pressures that everyone else does, right? And so my biggest thing is boundaries. Not, you have to set boundaries and you have to keep them. And so there are ways in which you can set boundaries and let people know that this is not a conversation that is up for discussion, or this is not a topic that's up for discussion between you and I. And so fortunately, I don't have too many family members who question me about when am I going to get in a relationship, but I know a lot of people do. And I'm a pretty direct person. I know not everybody is, so we can work on wordsmithing you a response. But I will just tell people, hey, this is not something that I feel comfortable talking with you about, but thank you for your concern. And I would go on about my business. I do not give them space to continue to talk to me about it. If they try to talk to me about it again, I will cut it off again. And I have people who know that my cutoff spirit is strong, because at the end of the day, I have to protect my heart space, what I allow to enter into my mind and my heart and my spirit. I think also there's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves with respect to timing, right? I'm 37. Other people are at varied, ages and stages in their singleness journey. And there is a lot of pressure. I was dating a guy who had concerns about my ability to be able to conceive in the future. And that was a very hard reality to have to sift through, right? But again, I just have to take it back to who I know I am as a person, who I know I am as a woman, as a child of God, and what I view my worth as, and that I believe that everything will align as it should. And so I would just tell you to just really be protective of what you allow to enter into your heart space. And that doesn't mean that things still won't enter, but you need to be able to run back to the truth, whatever that looks like for you, when those things enter into your mind. And on an ongoing basis in my community, especially over on YouTube, I talk about topics that matter to you all. So I love engaging with my YouTube audience, and they know that they can drop a topic in the comments whenever they want. And I try to do a video because it's not just my community, it's our community. And I love to give a safe space for women to come. They know over there, they can come and just be themselves. I'm not here to judge you or anything like that. I'm really here to be that friend, that homegirl that's there to support you on your journey. So those are just a few of the things. You can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on all my social media handles at Only Lady V. And I look forward to connecting with everyone.
We appreciate you. And for everyone who is single, or if you know someone who's single, definitely support our girl, Lady V. She has solid, very heart-centered, authentic content, about her journey to inspire us all. I think it's a unique ministry she has, because many people are around, like, whether it's about femininity or about how to catch a man. She's like, how to love yourself and embrace the season. So thank you so much, Lady V, for your time today. May God be with you and everyone watching. Ashe.